Hello, kindergarten. Today we are talking about patterns. You've just watched a really neat video talking about how you see patterns everywhere on your floor, in nature, on your clothes. And a pattern is something that is repeated over and over. So if you look here, I have curly line and then I have diagonal lines. Curly line, diagonal lines, curly line, diagonal lines, curly line. And then I'm also creating a pattern with colors. And we're going to practice with our crayons. See how I outline? We've been talking about outlining. We've been talking about coloring ooh la la. And then maybe you want to come in with another crayon and make another pattern going this way. Maybe I skip one. See how I put an X and skip, put an X and skip. Come down here, maybe I want to do a different color. And on this time I skip and put an X. Skip and put an X. Skip and put an X. So you're going to practice this first. And then after that, because I always like you to plan and practice first. After that, you're going to, after you've done this, everybody will have their own stencil. And your own stencil looks like this. Mine says Milligan because this is my example. And I want you to think about if you were to wear mittens, where would your thumb be? Would your thumb be like this? Is that how it should be on the paper? Or should they face together? And they should probably face together. Now you can put your mittens wherever you want. Maybe you want your mitten kind of, moving around the paper like that. And when we trace, you're going to have two. So I have my left mitten and my right mitten. And always, before we get started, we turn it over and we write our name. Nice and big. And then check your shoulder buddy. Say, name check. Make sure your name's on there. Turn it over. Then I'm going to set my stencil where I want it. And I only have two per table. So while we're waiting to trace, we can be working on our pattern. So I've got this set where I like it. The thumbs are still facing the right way. And I hold my hand down in the center. And you're going to trace. You don't need to trace it too dark. And I go all the way around. Maybe I need to lift my hand up. All the way around. Okay. Then I would set this in the middle of the table so somebody else can use it. Because remember, we only have two per table. So, looks like that. Then you go back to your practice one because you've already practiced. We're going to use a different type of media. We're not going to use crayons. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. These are called oil pastels, and oil pastels are wonderful. They're kind of creamy because they're made of oil paint. And these are a nice big set, so you'll get to choose your colors. And maybe they'll match. Your pattern should look the same. I'm going to choose a purple, and they have a wrapper on them. You want to be careful. Sometimes with the heat of your body, these things will slip off. So we've got, and if that's the case, look, I have a green one. It's okay. And you might get it on your fingers. You can just don't wipe them on your clothes. But we can take care of that at the end of the class if we have time, or you can wash them back in your classroom. Now the first step that I want to do, I've already traced my mitten. I can set this right here so I can look at it, and I'm going to outline it. I'm going to outline it with a purple crayon. We talked about outlining. The reason why we outline, I'm going to put these crayons away so I don't get confused on what I'm using. We're going to use the real oil pastels. The reason why we outline is so it pops and it stands out. An outline is kind of like tracing over what you just drew. So the thing that you need to be concerned about, or be aware of, not concerned, is you don't need to press hard. You don't want to grab onto them because they'll break. You want to be kind of gentle with them. And they could be smeary. So you can turn your paper. So I'm turning my paper around, and I'm right on that pencil line. So I want to take my time because I don't want to see that pencil line, because you cannot erase oil pastels. Oh, see, I didn't get as close. Maybe I need to go in and make it a little darker. And it's just like crayons. You're not pressing hard and you're not scribbling. Then I'm going to turn it back around so I've got that outline. Now, if you want to outline both at the same time, that'd be great. I'm going to show you how to do this, and then I pause the video so we can catch up. Always ask the person next to you, do you need some help? Now, don't do their work, but just say, hey, do you need some help? Or you can raise your hand and I can come around. And I've already practiced this, so I'm going to take the purple. I'm going to start at the top, and you can do whatever pattern you want, but this is the one that I did. And I'm going to do a swirly line. And we've done these before. There's my swirly line. My next pattern is diagonal lines. And a pattern, remember, is repeated over and over. And then I go to my swirly. And you want to fill in your mitten. That means you don't want a lot of white space, because these are your mittens. And maybe you want to go all the way across. Now, it's not not exactly the same, but that's all right. Here I go again. There's my swirly. So I'm making a pattern. Then I do my diagonal lines. I kind of like this mitten better. And then my swirly. Okay, so I've got that one done. And we have to share. Well, that's what we're working on in here, is sharing. So now I'm going to have the green, and I'm going to fill in these. Now, be careful. If you need to, you can always take a scrap piece of paper and set it on what you've already done, because you might get it on your hand and we don't want to smear it. So now I'm going to have my paper there, and then later you can use that as a free drawing paper. And I'm going to scoot it down, and I'm just doing the insides of it. Now, if you see when they get together, it kind of mixes the colors together. So that's all right. If this is dirty, see how this has got some other stuff on it? Just very gently move it around on there. Cleans it up. And then I've got my filling in my circles. Filling in my circles. There we go. Remember, if you get something on you, it's okay. This is art class. I've got a little bit on my fingers. It feels kind of different. You can always rub it on your paper if you need to. Now I'm going to choose, oh, there's red. I like red. Now see how this looks a little dirty? I'm going to rub it around a little bit, maybe clean it up. Okay. Now on my red, I'm going to come back in where I had the orange, and I made another pattern. I'm going to fold this up so I don't get that on my hand. You can always do that too. And I'm going to come back in. I'm going to cross, skip, cross, skip, cross, skip. Then I go to the next one. And remember, I skipped here, so I'm going to skip, cross. If you need to say it to yourself, that'll help. That's fine. Skip, cross, skip, cross, skip. Then here we go. Up top, I had cross, skip, cross, skip, cross, skip. So today, our lesson, we did it, like I said, we had a pattern video. We got to practice our pattern video. We got to practice our pattern on our mitten. We put our name down here, and we took the pattern, and we need to share these. We set them down because we're practicing. This is a fine motor skill development, using these to trace. You guys are getting so much better at doing this. We're coloring ooh la la. We practice first with our crayons, and then after we've made our sample, then we decide where we want our mittens. We trace 2 mittens. After we trace 2, we go in and we always outline. We take our time. We're not pressing hard. And we go all the way around. Now, do you see how that's close to the edge? If I want to, I can take my scrap paper so it won't get on my table and set it up against there. And then I have outlined my mitten. And these will be hung up in the hallway. And I'll probably have something for you to color for a winter scene. So, thank you. I'll talk to you later.